Bobby, when did the automotive world first spark your interest?
Well, I probably was about 10 years old and growing up in Miami, Florida with 9 brothers and sisters, and my Grandpa Patton, my mom's dad, living with us. Grandpa Patton was a retired accountant from New York City, but he was a big sports fan. And one night he said to me, Bobby, come on, you're going with me to the car races. And that got me started. We went to Opelika Speedway, and I just really loved it.
What was it about the Miami racing scene that had you looking for more?
Well, it was very competitive as things developed down there. You know, after that very first deal, which was pretty primitive, the sport grew around the Miami area. Opelika Speedway at first had paved straightaways and dirt corners, and later had pavement all the way around, which was even better from my viewpoint. And then they built the Hialeah Speedway, and then Medley Speedway, and West Palm Beach was a half-mile dirt, but then they paved it, so it was a paved half-mile. So there was adequate racing places down there, and I just was really caught up in it.
You were born in Florida, moved to Alabama. That had to be a bit of a culture shock for you. What was that like?
Well, it was really, really neat, but it didn't happen exactly like that. I was raised in South Florida, graduated from high school at Curley High in Miami, Archbishop Curley High in Miami, Florida. And out of high school, got an opportunity to go to Wisconsin and live with an aunt and uncle and 3 girl cousins and go to work for Mercury Outboard Motors. Well, that was the summer in Wisconsin. And from there, went through the summer and on into the fall, and the first day of really bad weather, I spilled a boat and was in the water for 35 minutes after my waterproof watch got water in it and froze. But swam to a doctor and registered nurse's house, and she knew what to do, and she got me going pretty good, pretty quick, and got over that, and they shipped us to South Florida, well, to Central Florida, to Sarasota, and we had the old winter proving grounds there, and really was great for me. And then when we got off on Saturday afternoons, then I could go to Miami for the Hialeah races for Saturday night and spend the Sunday daytime with my folks and family, and then back to Sarasota. And from there,
Today's biography, Bobby Allison, who passed away at the age of 86. Bobby Allison was one of the greatest NASCAR racers ever. He won 3 Daytona 500s in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Just one of the all-time greats. But the second half of his life is almost Shakespearean with how tragic it is. So Bobby Allison, born 1937 in Miami, grew up there, loved racing, very young age. His parents did not love it. Went and did some circuits in some other areas. Came back to Miami when he was 19. His parents said, listen, you can live under this roof, that's fine, we love having you, but you can't race. It's just too dangerous, we're not going to abide by it. But Bobby Allison was going to race anyway, he just loved it. And he went and raced under a fake name, Bob Sunderman, one of the great fake names in history. And he did really well, got his name, well, Bob Sunderman's name in the paper. His dad found out about it, and his dad's like, listen, just race. If you're going to race, use your real name, have some pride in that. And he did. And his parents knew they weren't going to stop him. And he loved it. And the crazy thing about Bobby Allison was the older he got, the better he got. He didn't win his first Daytona 500 until he was 40. He won his third one when he was 50. He's the only racer ever to win with restrictor plates and without. In fact, the top speed he had before restrictor plates was 212 miles an hour. And the last one was the most special. He finished first place, and his son, Davey Allison, finished second. 1-2. Boom. And it was the highlight of Bobby Allison's life. It was also the point when everything went south. So June of that same year, 1988, Bobby Allison was in a horrible wreck and was actually pronounced dead and had to be revived. He was revived, but he was never able to race competitively again. Now, he and his wife had 4 kids, 2 daughters, 2 sons. Both sons, Clifford and Davey, loved racing. They were all into it. But 4 years after that horrible wreck that Bobby had, Clifford Allison died in a wreck. And then a year later, Davey Allison, the son that finished in second place, died in a helicopter accident. This destroyed the family, as I'm sure you can imagine. and Bobby and his wife ended up getting divorced. 4 years later, after that, one of the widow's daughter-in-law got remarried, and Bobby and his wife saw each other at the wedding, and they were able to work things out again, and actually got married again and stayed married until her death in 2015. But it's very sad. Bobby has no memory of the 1988 Daytona 500 when him and his son celebrated. He lost those memories after the auto wreck in June of that year. And while his career had these incredible successes, I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan in the world, but even I can look at this and just be completely blown away with how great of a racer this guy was. The horrible tragedies that befell his life after that is something you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. So there you go. Bobby Allison, an amazing life, incredibly talented racer, gone at the age of 86.